To come to a conclusion or decision about a problem or issue. To make a firm decision or determination to do or achieve something.
हल करना, समस्या का समाधान निकालना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Irk, posit, flounder, resolve. Now the correct answer is resolve.
Resolve as verb.
हल करना, समस्या का समाधान निकालना.
To come to a conclusion or decision about a problem or issue. To make a firm decision or determination to do or achieve something.
Synonym of
Resolve.
Determination, resolution, decide, settle, firmness.
Antonym of
Resolve.
Question, uncertainty, indecision, hesitation, indecisiveness.
Here is the word family of resolve. As a noun resolution, as a verb resolve, as an adjective resolute, as an adverb resolutely.
The therapist helped her client resolve her deep-seated emotional issues. She resolved to quit smoking and started a smoking cessation program. The two countries resolved their differences and signed a peace treaty. The customer service representative resolved the customer's issue over the phone. The team resolved to work together to complete the project on time.
collocation of
Resolve.
Inner resolve. Definition: personal determination or strength of character to overcome challenges. Examples: she relied on her inner resolve to push through difficult times and achieve her goals. Strong resolve. Definition: a high level of determination or steadfastness in pursuing a goal. Examples: his strong resolve enabled him to overcome obstacles and achieve his dreams. Resolute action. Definition: decisive and determined action taken to accomplish a goal or objective. Examples: the CEO's resolute action led to a successful turnaround for the company. Resolve a conflict. Definition: to find a solution or reach an agreement to end a conflict or dispute. Examples: the mediator helped them resolve their ongoing conflict through open communication. Resolve a problem. Definition: to find a solution or fix to a problem or issue. Examples: the team worked together to resolve the technical problem and get the system back online.
Next question. To endear oneself to someone, especially by flattering or doing favors. To gain favor or approval by behaving in a pleasing or obliging way.
खुशामद करना, किसी की कृपा पाने के लिए मनाना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Galvanize, redress, ingratiate, indict. Now the correct answer is ingratiate.
Ingratiate as verb.
खुशामद करना, किसी की कृपा पाने के लिए मनाना.
To endear oneself to someone, especially by flattering or doing favors. To gain favor or approval by behaving in a pleasing or obliging way.
Synonym of
Ingratiate.
Flatter, captivate, fawn, crawl, attract.
Antonym of
Ingratiate.
Repel, deter, alienate, antagonize, disgust.
Here is the word family of ingratiate. As a noun ingratiation, as a verb ingratiate, as an adjective ingratiating, as an adverb ingratiatingly.
The student tried to ingratiate herself with the teacher by staying after class to ask questions. The politician attempted to ingratiate himself with the voters by promising tax cuts. The new employee brought in donuts on the first day to ingratiate herself with her coworkers. He tried to ingratiate himself with the boss by constantly complimenting her work. The company offered free samples to try to ingratiate its new product with consumers.
Common collocation of
Ingratiate.
Ingratiate oneself. Definition: referring to the act of trying to gain favor or approval from someone. Examples: he tried to ingratiate himself with the boss by constantly complimenting her work. Ingratiate through flattery. Definition: referring to the use of excessive praise or flattery to win someone's favor. Examples: the politician attempted to ingratiate herself with the voters by making grand promises. Ingratiate with gifts. Definition: referring to the practice of giving gifts to win someone's favor. Examples: he tried to ingratiate himself with his colleagues by showering them with expensive gifts. Ingratiate for personal gain. Definition: referring to the act of trying to win favor for one's own benefit. Examples: the employee tried to ingratiate himself with the manager to secure a promotion. Ingratiate through acts of kindness. Definition: referring to the use of kind gestures and helpfulness to gain someone's favor. Examples: she sought to ingratiate herself with her neighbors by offering to help with their chores.
Next question. To deviate from what is right, true, or proper. To make a mistake or be incorrect in judgment or action.
गलती करना, गलत होना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Objurgate. Exasperate. Err. Disabuse. Now the correct answer is err.
Err as verb.
गलती करना, गलत होना.
To deviate from what is right, true, or proper. To make a mistake or be incorrect in judgment or action.
synonym of
Err.
Slip, blunder, sin, transgress, go astray.
antonym of
Err.
Accurate, be right, belong, concentrate, contemplate.
Here is the word family of err. As a noun error, as a verb err, as an adjective errant, as an adverb errantly.
The employee erred in their report and had to redo it. If you're not careful, you may err in your decision-making. The writer was criticized for erring in their portrayal of historical events. It's important to be humble and admit when you've erred in your judgment. The jury must be careful not to err in their verdict.
common collocation of
Err.
Err on the side of caution. Definition: to act in a cautious or conservative manner to avoid making a mistake. Examples: the pilot decided to err on the side of caution and delay the flight due to the stormy weather. Err on the side of generosity. Definition: to be more generous or giving than necessary. Examples: the host decided to err on the side of generosity and provide extra food and drinks for the party guests. Error in judgment. Definition: to make a mistake or error in judgment. Examples: the referee erred in judgment by awarding a penalty kick for a minor foul. To err on the side of caution. Definition: to act or decide in a more cautious or conservative manner to avoid making a mistake. Examples: let's err on the side of caution and double-check all the calculations before submitting the report. To err is human. Definition: a phrase emphasizing that making mistakes is a natural part of being human. Examples: nobody is perfect. To err is human, after all.
Next question. To irritate, annoy, or make someone angry. To make a situation or condition more difficult or unpleasant.
चिढ़ाना, गुस्सा या झुंझलाहट पैदा करना.
At this point, let us analyze the options provided. Which of these words fits the given definition most appropriately? Concede, appropriate, exasperate, tender. Now the correct answer is exasperate.
Exasperate as verb.
चिढ़ाना, गुस्सा या झुंझलाहट पैदा करना.
To irritate, annoy, or make someone angry. To make a situation or condition more difficult or unpleasant.
Synonym of.
Exasperate.
Irritate, annoy, vex, provoke, nettle.
Antonym of.
Exasperate.
Placate, calm, please, appease, better.
Here is the word family of exasperate, as a noun exasperation, as a verb exasperate, as an adjective exasperated.
The constant noise from the construction site was exasperating the neighbors. The long wait at the DMV was starting to exasperate her. The difficult math problem was exasperating the student. His lack of punctuality always exasperated his boss. The customer's rude behavior only exasperated the already stressed-out server.
Common collocation of.
Exasperate.
Exasperate someone. Definition: to greatly irritate, annoy, or frustrate someone. Examples: the constant interruptions during the meeting exasperated the participants, hindering productivity. Exasperate a problem. Definition: to make a problem or situation more frustrating, difficult, or complicated. Examples: the lack of clear instructions only exasperated the problem of assembling the furniture. Exasperate a condition. Definition: to worsen or intensify a physical or emotional condition, making it more challenging to cope with. Examples: the hot weather exasperated the patient's respiratory condition, causing breathing difficulties. Exasperate a conflict. Definition: to escalate or intensify a conflict or disagreement, making it more difficult to resolve. Examples: the inflammatory remarks from both sides only exasperated the conflict, deepening the divide. Exasperate a customer. Definition: to frustrate or irritate a customer through poor service or inadequate solutions. Examples: the long wait time and unhelpful responses exasperated the customer, leading to a negative review.
Next question. To terminate or end something abruptly.
छोटा करना, किसी चीज को काटकर छोटा कर देना.
Let us now consider the options for this question. Which of these words best corresponds to the provided definition? Truncate, extrapolate, tarnish, bemoan. Now the correct answer is truncate.
Truncate as verb.
छोटा करना, किसी चीज को काटकर छोटा कर देना.
To terminate or end something abruptly.
Synonym of.
Truncate.
Trim, abbreviate, curtail, cut, crop.
Antonym of.
Truncate.
Expand, elongate, lengthen, stretch, add.
Here is the word family of truncate, as a noun truncation, as a verb truncate, as an adjective truncated.
The editor suggested truncating the article to make it more concise. The developer had to truncate the data to fit it into memory. He had to truncate the video to fit the time limit. The artist decided to truncate the sculpture to give it a more modern look. She had to truncate her vacation because of work obligations.
Collocation of.
Truncate.
Truncate a database table. Definition: to remove or delete all records or data from a database table. Examples: in order to start fresh, they decided to truncate the entire database table. Truncate a song. Definition: to shorten or cut down the duration of a song by removing certain parts or sections. Examples: the radio version of the song was truncated to fit within the allocated airtime. Truncate a file. Definition: to shorten or reduce the length or size of a file by removing its end or excess content. Examples: the programmer had to truncate the log file to save storage space. Truncate a number. Definition: to shorten or round off a number by removing decimal places or significant digits. Examples: the calculation required them to truncate the result to the nearest whole number. Truncate a conversation. Definition: to abruptly end or cut short a conversation or discussion. Examples: the manager had to truncate the meeting due to time constraints.
Next question. To set apart for or assign to a particular purpose or use. To take for one's own use without permission or legal right.
हड़पना, किसी चीज को अपने लिए ले लेना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Hoodwink. Travail. Unnerve. Appropriate. Now the correct answer is appropriate.
Appropriate as verb.
हड़पना, किसी चीज को अपने लिए ले लेना.
To set apart for or assign to a particular purpose or use. To take for one's own use without permission or legal right.
Synonyms of.
Appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, proper, right, apt.
Antonyms of.
Appropriate.
Inappropriate, unsuitable, unrelatable, improper, undeserving.
Here is the word family of appropriate, take, as a noun appropriation, as a verb appropriate, as an adjective appropriative.
The artist appropriated images from various sources to create a collage. She appropriated a portion of her salary for charity donations. The company decided to appropriate funds for the new project. The writer appropriated dialogue from real-life conversations to make the story more authentic. The government appropriated land for the construction of a new highway.
Here are some useful collocations of.
Appropriate.
Appropriated funds. Definition: funds that have been allocated or assigned for a specific purpose or use. Examples: The government appropriated funds for infrastructure development. Appropriated time. Definition: time that is designated or set aside for a particular activity or task. Examples: she needed some appropriated time to complete her research project. Appropriated resources. Definition: resources that have been allocated or assigned for a specific project or objective. Example: the team had access to appropriated resources to carry out the experiment. Appropriated attire. Definition: clothing or dress that is suitable or fitting for a specific occasion or event. Examples: participants were asked to wear appropriated attire for the formal dinner. Appropriated language. Definition: language that is used in a manner that is appropriate for the situation or context. Examples: the speaker used appropriated language when addressing the audience at the conference.
Next question. To abstain from using or engaging in. To avoid or shun deliberately and often habitually.
त्यागना, किसी चीज से दूर रहना या बचना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Assuage, kowtow, eschew, pontificate. Now the correct answer is eschew.
Eschew as verb.
त्यागना, किसी चीज से दूर रहना या बचना.
To abstain from using or engaging in. To avoid or shun deliberately and often habitually.
Synonym of.
Eschew,
Shun, avoid, forego, evade, forbear.
Antonym of.
eschew,
Embrace, like, court, love, accept.
Here is the word family of eschew, as a verb eschew.
She has made a conscious effort to eschew negative influences in her life. Many investors choose to eschew high-risk stocks in favor of more stable investments. In his old age, he had learned to eschew unhealthy foods and stick to a balanced diet. The company decided to eschew traditional advertising methods and focus on social media marketing instead. The author's writing style eschews flowery language in favor of concise and direct prose.
Common collocation of.
eschew,
Eschew violence. Definition: to consciously avoid or abstain from engaging in any form of violent behavior. Examples: the organization promotes peaceful conflict resolution and encourages individuals to eschew violence as a means of achieving their goals. Eschew fast food. Definition: to deliberately avoid or refrain from consuming fast food or processed meals. Examples: in an effort to maintain a healthy lifestyle, Sarah decided to eschew fast food and focus on home-cooked, nutritious meals. Eschew social media. Definition: to deliberately stay away from or avoid using social media platforms. Examples: the author decided to eschew social media to minimize distractions and focus on writing their new book. Eschew gossip. Definition: to consciously refrain from participating in or spreading gossip or rumors about others. Examples: Lisa made a personal commitment to eschew gossip and instead promote positive conversations and support among her friends. Eschew dishonesty. Definition: to consciously avoid or reject dishonesty, deceit, or falsehood in one's words or actions. Examples. The company's values encourage employees to eschew dishonesty and uphold integrity in all business dealings.
Next question. To illustrate or demonstrate by example. To serve as a clear and typical example of a particular quality or thing.
उदाहरण देना, किसी बात को स्पष्ट करने के लिए नमूना देना.
At this point, let us analyze the options provided. Which of these words fits the given definition most appropriately? Exemplify. Misattribute. Stymie. Attenuate. Now the correct answer is exemplify.
Exemplify as verb.
उदाहरण देना, किसी बात को स्पष्ट करने के लिए नमूना देना.
To illustrate or demonstrate by example. To serve as a clear and typical example of a particular quality or thing.
Synonym of.
Exemplify.
Illustrate, represent, symbolize, typify, instance.
Antonym of.
Exemplify.
Disguise, befuddle, bemuse, bewilder, clip.
Here is the word family of exemplify, as a noun exemplification, as a verb exemplify, as an adjective exemplary.
The success of the project exemplifies teamwork and collaboration. The way she handled the situation exemplifies good judgment. His behavior exemplifies the values of the organization. The museum's collection exemplifies the diversity of the region's art. The teacher used a real-life example to exemplify the concept.
Common collocation of
Exemplify.
Exemplify a concept. Definition: to serve as a clear or typical example that illustrates a particular concept or idea. Examples: the famous painting exemplifies the artist's use of vibrant colors and bold brushstrokes. Exemplify a trend. Definition: to represent or demonstrate a prevailing trend or pattern in a particular domain. Examples: the fashion designer's latest collection exemplifies the current trend of sustainable and eco-friendly fashion. Exemplify a success story. Definition: to serve as a prime example of achievement or success in a particular field or endeavor. Examples: the entrepreneur's rise from poverty to business success exemplifies the power of determination and hard work. Exemplify a skill. Definition: to demonstrate or showcase a specific skill or ability. Examples: the pianist's flawless performance exemplifies her exceptional skill and talent. Exemplify a principle. Definition: to embody or demonstrate a specific principle or moral value through one's actions or behavior. Examples: the philanthropist's charitable acts exemplify the principle of compassion and social responsibility.
Next question. To confine or imprison someone within a confined space or enclosure, often without access to the outside world. To shut in or enclose something within a structure or space, often for protection or isolation.
कैद करना, किसी को बंद कर देना.
At this point, let us analyze the options provided. Which of these words fits the given definition most appropriately? Vindicate. Immure. Grovel. Galvanize. Now the correct answer is immure.
Immure as verb.
कैद करना, किसी को बंद कर देना.
To confine or imprison someone within a confined space or enclosure, often without access to the outside world. To shut in or enclose something within a structure or space, often for protection or isolation.
Synonym of
Immure.
Jail, confine, incarcerate, imprison, cage.
Antonym of
Immure.
Emancipate, break free, unfetter, run, manumit.
Here is the word family of immure, as a noun immurement, as a verb immure, as an adjective immured.
He was immured in a cell for years before finally being released. The walls of the castle seemed to immure her from the outside world. The child felt immured in his own house, unable to leave due to his parents' restrictions. The prisoner was immured in a tiny cell with no hope of escape. The developer planned to immure the old church within the new building.
common collocation of
Immure.
Immure in solitude. Definition: to isolate or confine oneself in a state of solitude or seclusion away from others. Examples: the writer found solace by immuring herself in solitude, allowing her creativity to flourish. Immure in an asylum. Definition: to confine or institutionalize someone in a mental asylum or psychiatric facility. Examples: the psychiatrist recommended immuring the patient in an asylum for further evaluation and treatment. Immure oneself. Definition: to isolate or confine oneself, often by choice or as a form of self-punishment. Examples: after the tragic loss, she immured herself in her house, shutting out the outside world. Immure in darkness. Definition: to keep or confine someone or something in a state of darkness or absence of light. Examples: the captive was immured in darkness for days, deprived of any visual stimulation. Immure behind bars. Definition: to lock or confine someone behind physical barriers, such as prison bars or gates. Examples: the notorious criminal was finally immured behind bars, ensuring he would no longer pose a threat to society.
Next question. To plan or devise, especially in a complex or sinister way. To plot or scheme, often in a secretive or malicious manner.
षड्यंत्र रचना, गुप्त रूप से योजना बनाना.
Now, let me present the options for this question. Which of these words matches the definition? Eschew, machinate, abjure, prevaricate. Now the correct answer is machinate.
Machinate as verb.
षड्यंत्र रचना, गुप्त रूप से योजना बनाना.
To plan or devise, especially in a complex or sinister way. To plot or scheme, often in a secretive or malicious manner.
synonym of
Machinate.
Plot, conspire, intrigue, scheme, devise.
Antonym of
Machinate.
Abandon, give up, renounce.
Here is the word family of machinate, as a noun machination, as a verb machinate.
The CEO was accused of machinating a plan to monopolize the industry and put smaller companies out of business. The disgruntled employees were found to be machinating a plan to sabotage the company's operations in order to seek revenge. The spy agency was suspected of machinating a plot to overthrow the foreign government and install a puppet regime. The political party was accused of machinating a plot to rig the elections and remain in power. The corrupt officials were caught in the act of machinating a scheme to embezzle public funds.
Common collocation of
machinate.
Machinate revenge. Definition: to plot or scheme to seek retaliation or vengeance. Examples: the betrayed character spent years machinating revenge against those who wronged them. Machinate a conspiracy. Definition: to conspire or orchestrate a covert plan with others. Examples: the investigators uncovered a group of individuals machinating a conspiracy to overthrow the government. Machinate a power play. Definition: to strategize or manipulate for personal gain or control. Examples: the ambitious politician was constantly machinating power plays to advance their career. Machinate a heist. Definition: to plan or scheme a robbery or theft. Examples: the criminal gang spent months machinating a heist on the heavily fortified bank. Machinate a coup. Definition: to plot or conspire to overthrow a government or leader. Examples: the rebel factions were secretly machinating a coup to seize control of the country.
Next question. To cause wounds or gashes in something by tearing. To tear or cut something roughly or jaggedly.
घायल करना, गहरे घाव देना.
We shall now review the options for this question. Which of these words most accurately matches the given definition? Demur, lacerate, equivocate, expurgate. Now the correct answer is lacerate.
Lacerate as verb.
घायल करना, गहरे घाव देना.
To cause wounds or gashes in something by tearing. To tear or cut something roughly or jaggedly.
synonym of
Lacerate,
Rend, cut, hurt, mangle, slash.
antonym of
lacerate,
Heal, mend, secure, sew, smooth.
Here is the word family of lacerate, as a noun laceration, as a verb lacerate, as an adjective lacerated.
The knife lacerated the steak, making it difficult to cut. The athlete lacerated his leg when he fell during the race. The jagged rocks lacerated her feet as she climbed the mountain. The thorns lacerated his hands as he picked the roses. The cat lacerated my arm when I tried to give it a bath.
common collocation of
lacerate,
Lacerate, trust. Definition: to break or betray someone's trust, causing deep emotional pain. Examples: the betrayal by her best friend lacerated her trust in others. Lacerate wounds. Definition: deep or jagged wounds that cause tearing of the skin or flesh. Examples: the victim suffered lacerate wounds from the sharp glass shards. Lacerate muscles. Definition: to tear or damage muscles through excessive strain or trauma. Examples: the athlete's intense training session lacerated his leg muscles. Lacerate flesh. Definition: to cut or tear the flesh, resulting in a deep or severe wound. Examples: the knife lacerated his arm, requiring immediate medical attention. Lacerate, garments. Definition, to tear or shred clothing or fabric. Examples, the branches of the thorny bushes lacerated her delicate dress.
Next question. To confirm or support with additional evidence or information. To validate or back up with further proof.
पुष्टि करना, सबूत या प्रमाण से साबित करना.
We shall now review the options for this question. Which of these words most accurately matches the given definition? Eek. Corroborate. Underscore. Supplant. Now the correct answer is corroborate.
Corroborate as verb.
पुष्टि करना, सबूत या प्रमाण से साबित करना.
To confirm or support with additional evidence or information. To validate or back up with further proof.
Synonyms of
Corroborate.
Confirm, substantiate, verify, support, validate.
antonyms of
Corroborate.
Deny, contradict, refute, disclaim, negate.
Here is the word family of corroborate, as a noun corroboration, as a verb corroborate, as an adjective corroborative, as an adverb corroboratively.
The scientists' research findings were corroborated by independent studies conducted by other research teams. The witness statement corroborated the victim's account of the events leading up to the accident. The internal investigation corroborated the whistleblower's allegations of misconduct within the company. The forensic evidence corroborated the prosecutor's theory of how the crime was committed. The eyewitness testimony corroborated the security camera footage, providing strong evidence against the suspect.
Here are some useful collocations of
Corroborate.
Corroborate evidence. Definition: to provide additional evidence or support for a claim or statement. Examples: the witness's testimony corroborated the victim's account of the incident. Corroborate a theory. Definition: to confirm or validate a scientific or theoretical proposition. Examples: the experiment's results corroborated the researcher's hypothesis. Corroborate a finding. Definition: to verify or validate a research finding through additional studies or evidence. Examples: the study's results were corroborated by subsequent research. Corroborate an alibi. Definition: to provide evidence or testimony that supports a person's claim of being elsewhere during a crime. Examples: the video footage corroborated the suspect's alibi. Corroborate a witness's account. Definition: to confirm or substantiate the details or accuracy of a witness's statement. Examples: the physical evidence corroborated the witness's account of the accident.
Next question. To include or encompass within a larger category or group. To take up and incorporate within a larger whole.
शामिल करना, किसी बड़े समूह में मिलाना.
We shall now review the options for this question. Which of these words most accurately matches the given definition? Denigrate. Obscure. Lacerate. Subsume. Now the correct answer is subsume.
subsume as verb.
शामिल करना, किसी बड़े समूह में मिलाना.
To include or encompass within a larger category or group. To take up and incorporate within a larger whole.
Synonym of.
Subsume.
Encompass, contain, include, comprise, embody.
Antonym of.
Subsume.
Surrender, capitulation, release, submission, renunciation.
Here is the word family of subsume. As a noun subsumption. As a verb subsume. As an adjective subsumed.
The new category can be subsumed under the existing one. The theory can be subsumed into a larger framework of ideas. The new policy was designed to subsume previous rules and regulations. The concept of love can be subsumed under the broader category of emotions. The committee decided to subsume the two departments into one.
Collocation of.
Subsume.
Subsume under a category. Definition: to include or classify something within a broader category or concept. Examples: the new research findings subsume under the category of environmental studies. Subsume into a theory. Definition: to incorporate or integrate something into an existing theory or framework. Examples: the psychologist's new findings were subsumed into the cognitive theory of learning. Subsume within a framework. Definition: to encompass or incorporate something within a particular framework or structure. Examples: the concept of social justice can be subsumed within the framework of human rights. Subsume under a larger concept. Definition: to place or consider something as part of a larger concept or idea. Examples: the concept of happiness can be subsumed under the larger umbrella of well-being. Subsume different perspectives. Definition: to reconcile or integrate different perspectives or viewpoints into a unified understanding. Examples: the professor's lecture aimed to subsume the diverse perspectives on cultural identity.
Next question. Express reluctance or hesitate to do something. Object or raise objections, especially on moral or ethical grounds.
आपत्ति करना, विरोध जताना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Demur. Avert. Underwrite. Elucidate. Now the correct answer is demur.
Demur as verb.
आपत्ति करना, विरोध जताना.
Express reluctance or hesitate to do something. Object or raise objections, especially on moral or ethical grounds.
Synonym of.
Demur.
Protest, object, disagree, scruple, challenge.
Antonym of.
Demur.
Agree, accept, acquiesce, consent, accede.
Here is the word family of demur. As a noun demurral. As a verb demur.
The politician demurred when asked about her stance on a controversial issue. The actor demurred from commenting on the rumors about his personal life. The student demurred when the teacher asked her to present in front of the class. The employee demurred when asked to work overtime, citing personal obligations. The lawyer demurred to the judge's ruling, arguing that it was unfair.
Common collocation of.
Demur.
Demur at a proposal. Definition: to express hesitation, objection, or disagreement with a proposal. Examples: John demurred at the suggestion of working overtime on weekends. Demur from making a decision. Definition: to delay or refrain from making a decision or giving a definite answer. Examples: the committee members demurred from making a final decision until they had more information. Demur to a request. Definition: to politely decline or refuse a request or invitation. Examples: Sarah demurred to her friend's request to borrow her car for the weekend. Demur on a legal point. Definition: to raise an objection or express doubt about a specific legal point or argument. Examples: the lawyer demurred on the admissibility of the evidence presented by the opposing counsel. Demur to an accusation. Definition: to challenge or object to an accusation or allegation made against oneself. Examples: the defendant demurred to the accusation of fraud, claiming innocence.
Next question. To cause to lose energy or effectiveness. To impede or hinder progress.
निष्प्रभाव करना, किसी की क्षमता कम कर देना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Stultify, badger, ossify, dispatch. Now the correct answer is stultify.
Stultify as verb.
निष्प्रभाव करना, किसी की क्षमता कम कर देना.
To cause to lose energy or effectiveness. To impede or hinder progress.
Synonym of
Stultify,
Stifle, enfeeble, repress, ridicule, frustrate.
antonym of
stultify,
Excite, deepen, elevate, stir, enhance.
Here is the word family of stultify, as a noun stultification, as a verb stultify, as an adjective stultified.
His lack of creativity stultified the project. The strict rules stultified the team's creativity. The teacher's monotone voice stultified the students' interest. The bureaucratic procedures stultified the progress of the project. The boring lecture stultified the audience.
collocation of
stultify,
Stultify growth. Definition: hinder or impede the progress or development of something, preventing it from expanding or flourishing. Examples: excessive regulations can stultify the growth of small businesses, limiting their ability to thrive. Stultify creativity. Definition: suppress or inhibit creative thinking or expression, stifling originality and innovation. Examples: a restrictive and rigid environment can stultify creativity, discouraging individuals from exploring new ideas. Stultify progress. Definition: hinder or obstruct forward movement or advancement, slowing down or halting the progress of a project or initiative. Examples: bureaucratic red tape can stultify progress in government agencies, leading to delays and inefficiencies. Stultify efforts. Definition: render efforts ineffective or fruitless, negating the positive impact or outcomes that were intended. Examples: micromanagement can stultify the efforts of employees, demotivating them and hindering their productivity. Stultify innovation. Definition: inhibit or discourage the development or implementation of new ideas, preventing innovative solutions or approaches. Examples: a risk-averse culture can stultify innovation, as individuals may be hesitant to propose or explore novel concepts.
Next question. To argue or plead with someone in an attempt to persuade them. To present or offer objections, protests, or objections to someone.
विरोध करना, आपत्ति जताना.
We shall now review the options for this question. Which of these words most accurately matches the given definition? Remonstrate, abjure, refute, tender. Now the correct answer is remonstrate.
Remonstrate as verb.
विरोध करना, आपत्ति जताना.
To argue or plead with someone in an attempt to persuade them. To present or offer objections, protests, or objections to someone.
Synonym of
Remonstrate,
Expostulate, object, demur, disapprove, accept.
Antonym of
remonstrate,
Concede, accede, agree, confess, consent.
Here is the word family of remonstrate, as a noun remonstrance, as a verb remonstrate, as an adjective remonstrative.
The parent remonstrated with their child about the importance of honesty. The teacher remonstrated with the student about their disruptive behavior in class. The customer remonstrated with the store manager about the defective product they had purchased. The activist remonstrated with the government about the need for climate action. The employee remonstrated with their boss about the unfair workload.
collocation of
Remonstrate,
Remonstrate with someone, definition, to protest or object to someone's actions or behavior. Examples: she remonstrated with her friend for being dishonest. Remonstrate against a decision. Definition: to express strong disagreement or opposition to a decision. Examples: the employees remonstrated against the management's decision to cut their benefits. Remonstrate about an injustice. Definition: to voice a complaint or protest about an unfair or unjust situation. Examples: the activists remonstrated about the social injustice in the community. Remonstrate over a policy. Definition: to argue or raise objections over a particular policy or rule. Examples: the citizens remonstrated over the government's new tax policy. Remonstrate against an action. Definition: to criticize or object to a specific action or conduct. Examples: the organization remonstrated against the company's unethical business practices.
Next question. To provide evidence or arguments in support of a claim or idea. To support or strengthen something, often by providing additional resources or assistance.
समर्थन देना, मजबूत बनाना या सहारा देना.
Let us now turn our attention to the options. Which of these words best fulfills the criteria of the presented definition? Contrive, disenfranchise, prevaricate, buttress. Now the correct answer is buttress.
Buttress as verb.
समर्थन देना, मजबूत बनाना या सहारा देना.
To provide evidence or arguments in support of a claim or idea. To support or strengthen something, often by providing additional resources or assistance.
Synonyms of
Buttress,
Support, prop, bolster, brace, reinforce.
Antonyms of
buttress,
Weaken, let down, add, administer, belie.
Here is the word family of buttress. Argument. As a noun buttress. As a verb buttress.
The wall was buttressed with heavy stones to support its weight and prevent collapse. The company's financial position was buttressed by a recent investment from a venture capital firm. The political party's position was buttressed by the support of influential leaders and organizations. The athlete's training was buttressed by a strict diet and exercise regimen, leading to improved performance. The arguments presented in the essay were buttressed with strong evidence and logical reasoning.
Here are some useful collocations of
Buttress.
Buttress a wall. Definition: to provide support or reinforcement to a wall or structure. Examples: the architect designed additional buttresses to strengthen the cathedral's walls. Buttress an argument. Definition: to support or strengthen an argument or position. Examples: the lawyer used compelling evidence to buttress his client's case. Buttress a belief. Definition: to provide justification or evidence for a belief or conviction. Examples: historical records buttress the belief that the event took place as described. Buttress economic growth. Definition: to contribute to or support the growth and stability of the economy. Examples: the government implemented policies to buttress economic growth and create more job opportunities. Buttress a friendship. Definition: to strengthen or reinforce a friendship or relationship. Examples: they often engage in meaningful conversations to buttress their friendship.
Next question. To frustrate or foil the plans or hopes of. To refuse to go along with or to do something.
हिचकना, आगे बढ़ने से मना करना.
We shall now review the options for this question. Which of these words most accurately matches the given definition? Dispatch. Rebuke. Balk. Surfeit. Now the correct answer is balk.
Balk as verb.
हिचकना, आगे बढ़ने से मना करना.
To frustrate or foil the plans or hopes of. To refuse to go along with or to do something.
Synonyms of
Balk.
Frustrate, thwart, foil, check, hinder.
antonyms of
Balk.
Aid, help, benefit, assistance, goad.
Here is the word family of balk, as a noun balk, as a verb balk, as an adjective balky.
The company balked at the high cost of implementing the new software system. The team manager balked at the idea of letting their star player go, knowing that it would hurt the team's performance. He balked at the thought of public speaking, despite being an expert on the topic. She balked at the idea of going skydiving, despite her friend's encouragement. The horse balked at the jump, refusing to go over it.
Here are some useful collocations of
Balk.
Balk at the idea. Definition: hesitate or resist accepting or considering an idea. Examples: they balked at the idea of moving to a different city. Balk at the challenge. Definition: be reluctant or unwilling to face a challenge. Examples: she balked at the challenge of speaking in public. Balk at the cost. Definition: object or refuse to pay a high price. Examples: the customer balked at the exorbitant cost of the product. Balk at the proposal. Definition: reject or oppose a proposed plan or suggestion. Examples: the board members balked at the proposal for a merger. Balk at the task. Definition: show resistance or reluctance to undertake a task. Examples: the team balked at the daunting task of meeting the tight deadline.
Next question. To draw a line around or enclose something within a boundary. To limit or restrict something within a certain range or scope.
सीमित करना, हद या दायरा तय करना.
Let us now consider the options for this question. Which of these words best corresponds to the provided definition? Refute, equivocate, circumscribe, unnerve. Now the correct answer is circumscribe.
Circumscribe as verb.
सीमित करना, हद या दायरा तय करना.
To draw a line around or enclose something within a boundary. To limit or restrict something within a certain range or scope.
Synonyms of
Circumscribe,
Limit, restrict, confine, define, surround.
antonyms of
circumscribe,
Free, open, amplify, broad, broaden.
Here is the word family of circumscribe. As a noun circumscription, as a verb circumscribe, as an adjective circumscribed.
The court's decision was circumscribed by the legal precedent in the case. The authority circumscribed the area that was affected by the contamination. The rules of the competition circumscribe what athletes can and cannot do during the event. The company's policy circumscribes the use of personal devices in the workplace. The artist's creativity was circumscribed by the limited materials available to her.
Here are some useful collocations of
Circumscribe,
Circumscribe boundaries. Definition: to establish or define the limits or boundaries of something. Examples: the new law will circumscribe the boundaries of the protected wildlife area. Circumscribe limitations. Definition: to set restrictions or constraints on something. Examples: the company's budget circumscribed the limitations of their marketing campaign. Circumscribe power. Definition: to limit or restrict the exercise of power or authority. Examples: the Constitution circumscribes the power of the president with checks and balances. Circumscribe freedom. Definition: to restrict or curtail individual freedom or autonomy. Examples: the oppressive regime's strict regulations circumscribed the freedom of speech. Circumscribe authority. Definition: to define or restrict the scope of one's authority or power. Examples: the board of directors circumscribed the CEO's authority to make financial decisions.
You can find playlists for various languages in the video description. To practice the vocabulary, you are encouraged to explore our various apps. Links to these are also included in the description. If you found something new or interesting, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section and provide your valuable feedback. And please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.